And I'm Bob Bechtold, and I've been asked to talk with you today about water. Most of yesterday's and so far today's discussions have been about energy, but if you aren't aware of it, Better Buildings is also now very interested in water conservation. And so the question is, why would a custom injection molder precision machining company from upstate New York, so living on the greatest resource of fresh water on the planet, be concerned about water? Well, actually, the short story I'm going to tell you is kind of the accident that happened. And so a few years ago, we got a surprise visit from our insurance company, and they told us that the rules for our fire insurance had changed. And every year for 30 or more years of our business before that, we were not supposed to sprinkler our building. And the reason why is because if the sprinkler went off accidentally, it could do much more damage than a small fire might do, so it was weighed up as that was the best way to go. But now they changed the rules. There was theory that maybe it was to try to recover losses, especially in New York for the catastrophic losses of 9/11, but whatever the reason, they changed the rules and we were stuck to either pay $50,000 a year increase in our fire insurance or put in a sprinkler system. So we began to have a system designed. We learned through the engineers that did that work that we did not have enough water supply to run the size of sprinkler system that we needed for our building. So our choices were two things. We could get the town to increase our water service, which is not very likely for a small company to get the town to redo the water system. And the second one was to do storage, and we would need a 250,000 gallon tank of water to supply enough water and to run the system as was required. And we already had two closed loop water systems, one for our HVAC system, one for our process loop, and we did not want a second, or a third rather, system that was a pain in the neck to manage. And so as opposed to putting in a storage tank, we investigated a storage pond. I have the good fortune of a son who's an excavator and had already done a number of ponds and had done two on my farm. And so I commissioned him to calculate what a certain area of our property would hold as a volume for a reservoir. And he reported back about 800,000 to 900,000 gallons of water. We at the time, we're working with an environmental engineering company on a job, and we called them up and asked them if they could calculate how much rainwater our roof and parking lot saw in 1 year. And they called us back a few minutes later and told us 1.2 million gallons of water. And my son's calculations were 800,000 to 900,000 gallon hole that he could dig based on our bedrock in the area that I gave him to work with. So that worked out very well. We had 1.2 million gallons of potential, plus or minus 10% per year. We could count on that, and body to put it in. So we, instead of paying $50,000 a year in fine or in increased payments, we used the $50,000 revenue stream or potential to build a $250,000 project, which included the pond and the sprinkler system and a pump house to operate it. So that solved the problem, but in coincidence, we were also, because of a combined heat and power project that we had already been many years or several years into, we were becoming thermally aware about the different things that you could do with thermal. And so we began to explore with this. A pond is a wonderful thermal potential because if you have awareness of geothermal, it's even better than direct bury. And so we studied how could we use the pond as a thermal sink. And this afternoon I'll be presenting much more detail about a project, initial project that we did by interrupting our process water loop, one of our two water loops. We were putting only 2 degrees in the pond because we were raising fish and for our employees to enjoy. We didn't want to damage ambient too much. And so by just leaving 2 degrees in the pond before we took it to the cooling tower, we were able to save 900,000 gallons of basically perfect city water, potable water, that is the normal water that's used to spray on the cooling plates in an evaporative cooling tower. So more details to come this afternoon if you're interested. Thank you.